Hey, you, I'm the Queen of Shade. Welcome to the conversation. These are conversations, not interviews. It's more of an inner, INNER view than an interview. So we're going to talk back and forth. There's going to be a beautiful exchange of energy both ways, and we are going to enjoy ourselves to the most. So come on, let's get to the conversation. Love you. Mwah. One-on-one conversations with the Queen of Shade. These are inner views, not interviews. Conversations worth having. Let's see what your soul looks like, and not just your body. Salutations, Queen of Shade here, coming to you with another special presentation. Talking to people from all around the world has been an amazing, amazing gift and opportunity. And having said that, I have someone else that you need to meet. This young man is an executive producer. And you might wonder what city he's in when he does these executive productions. He does them all over, but his base is Hollywood. So we're going to talk about that today. We are also going to talk about Philaye Films and this young man's creations, because I see, as I'm looking at his social media right now, because I didn't want to miss anything, that he's got quite a number of films and movies under his belt. And I'm going to take my time here, guys, because this is more than I thought. Okay, It's in You, the movie, Amy and Neil, the film, and Jamal, the film. So, wow, this young man, since the last time I spoke to him, because this is his second time, he has been busy. And we like busy because busy means more to talk about. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you or reintroduce to you this executive producer who goes by the name of Philaye.
What's up, y'all? How you doing? Thank you for having me.
Hi. Get this. I usually will take a look at, the person's Instagram to see their bio section to go through it. And it's been a while since I looked at your bio section because, I follow you. So I'm looking down in the feed. I'm looking at all these beautiful suit jackets and all these awards you're winning. And, I'm looking at you fraternize and socialize and have these film events. So I'm looking like, okay, but then when I look up there, I'm like, okay, award-winning producer, got 3 movies under his belt, executive film producer. I'm proud of you. I'm
Thank
proud,
you. I
very proud of
appreciate
you.
you. Yeah, those 3 in the bio are the 3 new ones. I think last time we had spoken, I had only maybe 2 or 3 short films under my belt. So now we're up to date, and then yeah, we have some exciting things coming next. So I'm excited.
Not only are we up to date, but you have won awards for your work.
Yes.
Yes, you have. Tell us what awards you've won.
Okay, I won the 2022 Speak Out I Am Awards Influencer of Excellence Award in Washington, D.C. I won the 2022 I think it was the Atlanta Pride Creative Communications Award. And then last year in October, we won a few different awards for our short film, Amy and Neil, at the Town Street Theater and Play Festival over here in Hollywood. And we won the Best Short Film Award. And also, I want to say Best Actor, something else. But yeah, some awards there too.
You've been busy.
Yes.
You've been busy. I want to ask a question. With you being busy, first of all, we know this. This is a conversation. It's not an interview. It's more of an inner view, not an interview. So, with these awards, the last time I spoke to you, were you new to Hollywood at that time?
Somewhat. Yeah, I think that we had basically, yeah, I think we spoke at the end of 2021.
Mhm.
I had just moved to LA in 2019,
Mhm.
started doing some things, and then in 2020, things continued. Although the pandemic was weird, we kind of kept doing some things, and then in 2021, shot my first couple of short films that were my within my company, kind of, but have been involved in another short film before then in 2020. So yeah, it was very new then, like first things, first opportunities, like first time working on like moving the show forward and stuff like that. And so now I feel like having more experience, having more experiences, more projects and stuff like that, I feel like I have like now a nice handle on, not even just the industry, but like myself and where I want to move within, my own career and life and just what type of entertainment and how to do it and stuff like that. So yeah.
It was so funny. I smiled while you were speaking because I thought about how Stella got her groove back. I said, "Oh, you're in your groove. You found your groove."
I
And
did.
yeah, yeah. And it's so difficult to do in Hollywood. Hollywood is a tough town.
Yeah.
Hollywood is a tough town. So, the fact that you were able to do that and, find other like minds to create with, because I love how you kept saying we, because it lets me know that you have a village behind you, you have a crew behind you, you have a team behind you. You were able to find key people that you could work with and not
Yes.
just work with, I'm going to say it, not just work with, but make amazing art and money with. So hard to do,
Right.
especially in Hollywood. I'm just going to say that, but you were able to do that. I want to ask a question. How did the SAG and AFTRA strike affect you?
So we shot a couple of, or the three films that were just in the Philaye Films Fest this month. We shot them in February of last year, April of last year, and October of 2022. So when the strike got here, we were in post-production for a couple of the projects and kind of pitch phases for a couple of the other projects. So it definitely slowed things down. Like I was allowing myself to just live life, have downtime because there's a lot of waiting when it comes to post production, and I think I especially was even more patient just because with the strikes, I didn't really feel in a rush to go anywhere. I was like, okay, we've made some things, we'll keep making things. I didn't really want to release anything during then, so it ended up feeling somewhat like a slow year then in the middle and towards the end and stuff. So then this year it's been like boom, hit the gas, and we came up with the Philaye Films Fest events, which was not even a thought until the middle of January. And then we just got done executing them in March. So it's like the strike was nice and slow, live life, have some experiences, and then boom, 2024. So
Throttle, full throttle. The reason why I'm keeping you here right now is because, we don't get enough young Black men in Hollywood whom are not B-list actors. We don't get enough of that. Like, and when I say enough of that, I mean that's usually what we get. You know,
mm,
it is very hard for someone in Hollywood to reach the executive level of production without like literally they want and there's a reason why I'm going this way. They want years and years and years of loyal service before you do that.
mhm,
And what I noticed about you is that you moved to Hollywood because we did have a conversation before. You moved to Hollywood and you were like executive producer from the beginning, and it was like, okay, I can only imagine how Hollywood would have, might have reacted to, oh, but we don't know this young man and we don't, who has he worked with or what has he done? And this is that and the other. And it's like, what I love is because, and the reason why I'm tying this in and taking my time with this, excuse me, is because when I created the Queen of Shade, I didn't ask permission. When I created her itinerary, her curriculum, what she would talk about, what she would do, how she would look, I did not ask anyone's permission. And the
mhm,
reason why I really draw to your work and I follow you so incessantly online is because you didn't ask anyone's permission, Philaye. You literally saw what you wanted and you went after it. And a lot of people don't have that kind of confidence, if you understand what I'm saying. They don't have that
yeah,
confidence. And I'm going to go even further, resources. They don't have the confidence, but then the resources. And what I love is you took your time. You took your time and you did it. You're seeing and reaping the rewards of you doing it your way. So that's why I'm staying there because I want them to understand Hollywood is not opening their doors to Black men to be executive producers and directors and like they're not
yeah,
opening doors to us, not like
yeah,
that. So for you to walk into a town that feels like, in this town, because I've been there, this town feels like if you didn't come recommended by such and such, we won't see you.
Yeah.
It's all about who you know and what you've done. And for you to walk in there kind of like I did and thumb your nose at them and be like, listen, I didn't come here to work for you. I came here to work for myself. I came here to learn, yes, but I came here to do what my heart's desire was leading me to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, baby. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was just agreeing, and I was partly laughing earlier in you saying it because it kind of felt like talking to my mom because she'll laugh about how I've always been the way where when I want something or when I realize I want to do something, I don't want to say there's no talking me out of it because that's really not even true. It's more so just that like if it's a good idea and it's what, my heart and God is like telling me to go to, I just kind of do it. And so when I think back to myself at I guess I was 23 when moving here and having the ambitious dreams. It's kind of funny to me because now being 28 and having had a little bit more experience and knowing a little more, I'm like, dang, I really have never given a fuck.
Right? I was going for it. I was going for it. I was sitting here. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just keep,
Like,
talking, but that was floating around the air.
I'm the type of person who is always willing, I feel like, to kind of jump out there, do what I want to do, and then adapt. And it's all about adapting and learning. And so there's been a lot of that because, so you mentioned how Hollywood, a lot of the times, they don't want to push Black men forward. It's like, after you do years and years of service, things like that. I think that is really cool that nowadays with social media and more digital mediums and stuff like that, I'm sure it's much different than maybe 30 years ago when it wouldn't, if you were an independent creator, it would take even more resources in order to kind of bridge that gap and be able to try to do anything because even distributing whatever you were going to show would be, I mean, unless you're going to be selling DVDs and stuff out, it would be a lot. So I think that it's a blessing kind of to for us to be creatives in this time because you and I, we get to do it on our own. We get to do it our own way and also have organizations and companies that we work with. But I think that it is just, it feels great to be independent in a way. Like another way, because you asked how did the strike, affect things. I would say the strike, it made me really, really appreciative of independence and just appreciative of like, I don't know, it's also not just because of the strike, but some life things during then too. But I just really, really appreciate and love the process of getting to make and release art more than I ever had. Like I just look at each one of the little projects and everything as, okay, what's this little piece and whatever my little museum is from my life that I want to leave behind. And so I don't know, the strike and the slowdown, it was a good pace switch up. Like, I don't know, I just feel fulfilled and feel, in a good place in the journey, all that type of stuff.
But you know what else too? As you were speaking, you were saying, like I'm in a good place and the strike affected me, but not so much. What I love about you, because it's radiating through the screen. There's a big brain up there. You got a big brain. And, like you said, it can be difficult because I remember in the beginning of my career, it was difficult to secure finances. Mm-hmm. And then, I actually didn't just secure finances, I secured a benefactor. So when I secured the benefactor, it was like, it was close to home. And it was like, oh my God, now I have the ability to do what I want, what the hell I want to do. And the reason why I'm going this way is because, before I had secured the benefactor, I literally had like on my wall, they're still up there, it's been years. Queen of Shade has been in formation 10 years. So literally I had lists and lists and lists and lists of how much things cost, how much website building was going to cost, how much graphics this, how much merchandise. I had it all marked down to the letter, and then to actually, and not knowing how I was going to get the funding, and then to turn around and get the funding and literally just be able to pull that list off the wall and do everything on it. And what I discover is, a lot of Black creatives, because let's face it, Black people, we are creatives. We are naturally charismatic. So literally what we all deal with is finance. a lack of finance. And the reason why I'm saying this is because there was an executive who said something during the strike, and it was horrible because when I looked at the strike, when I realized what was going on in Hollywood, the SAG and the after strike, if you saw the picket lines, the writers, they were predominantly Black. If you saw footage from Hollywood during the strike, they were Black. And you saw Viola Davis come out. You saw Tashina Arnold come out. You saw a lot of other talented actors and actresses emerge. And we learned, oh, yeah, this is a good conversation to go with you. Oh, I'm so glad I got your big brain and your executive producer right here. So I'm going for it.
Yes, let's talk about it.
Yes. Okay. So get this. You saw Tashina Arnold. And what now, mind you, Tashina Arnold, for those of you that don't know her by her real name, she starred as Pam on Martin Lawrence. And I will never forget being devastated. It was actually like I was devastated for her, but I also said to myself, thank you, God, for not allowing me to give in. Like, thank you, God, for not allowing me to sell myself, my intellectual property. Because Tashina was stopped in the picket line. And she was talking about, better pay, equal pay for, creatives. And they asked her what her royalties were. Her royalty was 1 cent. She said she got 1 cent. I literally burst into tears when she said that. She said she got 1 cent. And then we know the infamous, the most beloved Billy Porter, he talked about him winning an Emmy for Pose, him being celebrated and decorated and wearing all these amazing designers on the red carpet. But for Pose, he was getting 6 cent checks. So my question to you is,
Some other people are getting huge checks.
yeah, he talked about it, but he talked about those people being white.
Meanwhile, we have biggest star on the show, biggest name in the show.
He was forced, and I was very upset. He was forced to sell his home because literally he could not afford. He said money that he did make, it wasn't the same. Money that he did make only paid for a couple of months of mortgage. This was done. He literally came out, he did a whole interview about this. And so I'm getting to my point, but that is appalling, and it keeps happening to Black people. So the reason why I'm saying it is because you're there and you're growing. And as time goes by, these same actors who we know and adore, they're going to be looking at you for help. We heard about Taraji P. Henson saying that, actors deserved equal pay, especially Black women deserved
Yeah.
equal pay. I couldn't wait to have this conversation with you because you're there. You got to hire these actors.
Yeah.
You have to hire them.
Yes.
So I want to know what's fair in Hollywood as far, or first of all, tell me what the going rate is for a Black actor, if you know. Tell me what the going rate is and what it should be. Because,
Well,
yeah, go
I
ahead.
can't necessarily say what the going rate is because hey, I gotta still, keep getting up to the level where those actors you're talking about, I have no clue what they're getting paid, honestly.
Okay.
I do know that on my independent productions, we just shot Jamal the Sci-Fi the other week. Every single person on the set was paid. And even if we're working from a $10,000-$11,000 budget for my money, I don't believe in me because say I were to just get a camera or rent a camera, have a space, I could try to just get a whole bunch of people to come here, like, let's shoot something. Nobody's gonna get paid or compensated, but might have some snacks for you. I could do that and just make a million things. But I really believe in doing it the right way and treating it as if this is something that is a gig within people's passion, and also treat it as if people do have to treat their time as money. So if you're gonna be here all weekend filming, you at least need something because otherwise you could have been somewhere else getting some money so that you can pay your rent and your bills. And so being on the independent level, I definitely think that whatever the going rate for the actors in Hollywood is, I'm sure that way too much of it is kept for the studios and things. I mean, they're making, multi-million dollars and things on the productions. And then, I saw Amanda Seals talking about her insecure royalties checks and, some of them 5 cents, stuff like that. And we know, of course, the network ends up pocketing so much. So I think that it's definitely true that it's unfair. I think that the talent, as a producer, I have a lot of empathy for talent because they do a million auditions. They're constantly doing self tapes, kind of putting themselves out there, working, working, working to move forward. And then even sometimes when you get that big opportunity, they aren't really necessarily paying you as much as would be needed to, be sustaining yourself full time doing your career. So I think it is a hard profession for sure. So I always have empathy, and respect for any of the actors that I do know because I know the grind. I know the grind.
Yeah. And I'm going to segue there real quick because it's the same thing. It's the same thing in music. I make a lot of music. When I was younger, I'm 41 now. When I was younger, about maybe 24, 25, I was going to sign with a major label out of New York. And for reasons that I still don't know to this day, really, really, I give my explanation, but my soul just wouldn't let me do it. My ancestors and everybody, I just walked away. And the label was very upset with me because, they're like, oh, you want to sing in coffee shops and things, this, that, and the other. And we want to make sure your voice is heard by millions of people around the world. And I'm like, yeah, but at what cost? At what cost? Because, even in music, when you sign, you don't own your recorded voice anymore.
Yeah, especially music is a tough one.
Yeah, music is a tough one. And even tougher, I went indie in the music industry, and I see that even on the streaming sites. About a year ago, I took all of my music down off the streaming sites. And because I was just fed up with we get 1/3 of a penny. That is the going rate, 1/3 of a penny per stream. So I was sick of that. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna sell it through my website. I built this beautiful website. I will sell it, make my money through my website. But what happened was my European following kept contacting me because my music is really big in Europe. So I had to appease them and put it back on the streaming sites. Now mine was something that normally doesn't happen because we all know about supply and demand or the fear of loss. It's a tool we use. When you're trying to market something, trying to sell something, get it now before it's done. They use this technique. A lot of people do. But I said to them, I'm like, listen, I'm going to put this music up here one more time and I'm going to see before, but y'all saying y'all need to access this on your phones and this is great. But I had already had a problem with it because I was making 1/3 of a penny while the streaming sites are making $20 per person for subscription off of every person that listens to our music unlimited. So that was crazy. But I actually my public did speak to me and I left it up on the streaming sites because my album, I curated my first album. It had been out before, but I snatched it down and I put new songs on there and just rearranged it, gave it new titles, et cetera, et cetera. And my first album came out May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. By May 31st, it had 5 million streams. It had 5 million streams by May 31st. So literally, it sent a message to me that I needed to keep doing what I was doing, even if I have to find other ways for the revenue. One of the artists that I admire is Chloe Bailey, and she talked about on the Terrell show, Terrell Grice, on YouTube. She talked about how the moment you start recording music is the moment you start losing money. Music has become the advertisement or advertisement piece. And what you're really trying to do is use the music to get a brand deal. That was
Mm.
sad. That was sad for me. Even though she was telling the truth, that was sad for me because I spent thousands of dollars, double-digit thousands of dollars to create my music. Why would I offer it for free or for pennies? You know? So it's just what I'm illustrating is no matter where you go, because I could go into fashion too. I started as a model in Paris at 22. Like for Black people, we are underpaid and undervalued. Yet, one of my friends, my dear friend, his name is Thornell Jones Jr., he talks about the racehorse theory. He says all the suits and the money are white in every field, and all the talent is Black. So the reason why I went this way and I brought this up is because you're rising like a meteor. Like, you know how meteors usually hit down. No, you're rising, like you're coming out of the, like you're coming out of the gate. I see you traveling, you're doing your thing, and I see the turnouts. I see the following. I see the people that enjoy what you do, and I see them show up to support you. And with that, you're gaining a lot of momentum. And before you know it, you're going to be the next what? Tyler Perry, the next
I don't know about that.
no, listen, the next Tyler Perry, the next Lee Daniels, and the most accredited Spike Lee. Like you have to understand, like these things do happen. And the reason why I say that it's not far-fetched to say is because people think that it's so hard to do these things. It's not. It's not. What you need to do is show up every day and, and maintain your momentum.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you don't quit, you will succeed.
That's true because I agree with that mindset of if you don't quit, you'll succeed. Because the way I kind of look at a lot of things is that there's not necessarily, especially in the creative world, there's not necessarily a failure or a no. Sometimes there's just a lesson. Like you will hit a roadblock, you'll hit an obstacle, you'll have to hit a pivot. But that's fun because there's always, I feel, a new beginning coming. Like, you can be doing this project and then these things happen, all this and then you have this brand new project or these brand new things that you're kind of doing. So I do think that not quitting is key because, it's not like at every single point I have felt as great as I feel now. Because, I had things to learn. My degree was in business, not film. So, I was like, all right, I'm going to treat, my first years of doing everything at school and learn from every project, every experience, everything. And so I think that the journey and not stopping is what then allows those moments of like, dang, I'm really doing it. Because it's easy to get discouraged. Like you say, you have to just show up every day, do it in up and down seasons. There was the pandemic. That was crazy. I was still doing things during the pandemic, but it was kind of crazy because I was actually unemployed for a lot of it, like on stimulus money and all that stuff when in reality, most of the Philaye film stuff is funded by my finance job. So it's like necessary to, have everything going in from all sides. So yeah, I'm appreciative of this moment for sure.
And you know what's so crazy? That's what it takes, Philaye. A lot of us, when I started, excuse me, when I started in entertainment, I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything. It required, and I started as a model, so it forced me to get the information. It forced me to study. It forced me to learn. And to this day, I see so many people like they come to me because they see me posting my men on my page and different things, and then I'll post fashion content, and they'll ask me, and I don't get upset, but they ask me, how do I become a model? And I always say to them, that's something you should ask Google. Like, like the world has kind of become real. Like, and what I'm saying is, even our creatives, you can't be lazy. You can't be lazy. Like literally, I went to a modeling school here in Philadelphia called Barbizon, and I went more so for the book side of it. They taught me about, ties and turns, really, sophisticated turns and half Windsor, full Windsor, how to fold my blazer, always have a black and brown shoe when you come. They taught me hygiene, nails, and I know how to do my own manicures and, things like that to kind of get me there. But then when I left that school, and I left that school prematurely because I was like, okay, I was being offered a fashion gig. So like I was like, okay, gig, school, gig. That's what I chose. And I don't look back because that gig started to snowball into me having the opportunity to go to Paris for 6 months. So I don't regret it, but I find that a lot of young people today, they don't do the necessary work needed to understand these careers. And, it is what I don't like about these careers is they see you, they see me. We sit here, we're polished, we're put together. They don't understand that, that's a part of media coaching. That's a part of, you and I both know how to give an interview. We know how to speak. We know how to have a conversation. We know that the cameras are rolling. We know how to behave when the cameras are rolling. The reason why I'm going this way is because I want people to understand that you put a lot of work into who you are. And for you to even admit, you said, listen, my degree's in finance and business, actually, you said business, and that your finance job finances things, but you had to learn like the learning curve. My God.
It's a
And
lot. It is.
go ahead, say, please.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, when I think back to it, I just feel like I did not have any knowledge or preparation of the industry at all. Because even growing up, I wasn't really into pop culture and arts much. I was very big on sports in school. Like, if it was not track, football, or school, I did not know that much of what was going on. So it's like I really have had to spend these years, being a sponge of knowledge. And some of that, of course, always then comes with, oh, okay, if I would have known this, then I would have done this differently. But it's nice because you get to then just apply that. And then everybody shows up. Everybody's here for the evolution of every stage. So I think it's fun because, I had people at our LA Films Fest event last week that I met the day I moved here in 2019. So they saw, me as that person and then now and got to see, I had to evolve, grow all these things. And so, yeah, for myself, I look back and I'm like, dang, it's definitely been, a cool ride. And I really feel like I have a good handle on so much now that I didn't necessarily know I didn't know then because you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
But I'm grateful, for learning from experiences and stuff because technically I could have also gone the route of doing it the grad school way. But I actually just, kind of had a lot of student loans from undergrad. So I was like, if I do grad school, I kind of want to do it closer to like, later in life. Like it felt like too soon out of undergrad for me. So I'm not even opposed to, still going back and getting, any type of, whether it's masters or something like that. I think that would be fun. But it's been really fun doing it kind of just on the fly and learning as I go too.
There is no substitute for experience. There's no good substitute for experience. And I've learned that, my grandmother, she always tells me, I've been at this 21 years and, I've really dedicated and given my all to my craft. I mean, I tend to not really do anything else. I tend to not really do anything else. I literally, I've been celibate for 12 years. I don't believe in distractions. I just, but for me, let's face it, time was of the essence. I literally had the opportunity to go to Paris. I was 22. And then I had to come home because like you said, I wasn't managing my mental health. So my mental health was out of control. My mental health needed to be taken care of. I have 19 years of therapy under my belt. And it wasn't until maybe year 6, year 7 that this started to form. I was ready to actually allow it to form and let it out. But, a lot of people, I look at people because I'm just like, I witnessed people so willing to go and sign something. And this goes for all three, fashion, music, and film. They're so quick to just go and sign something because they want to prove to everyone else that they're doing something. And, I'm the type of person where I didn't sign anything. I didn't sign anything because impressing other people was not my goal. Having a lasting career was. And I got that. I got that on my own terms. I didn't have,
Longevity is key.
what'd you say? Say it again, babe.
Longevity is key.
Listen, and that's the thing. Like even these newcomers that come out, music, fashion, and film, I look at them and I go, how long are you gonna last? Because I've lasted 21 years. How long are you gonna last? And a lot of them can't go the distance because they don't want to do the research. They want to be out front in front of the camera. And I enjoy it too. I enjoy my days in the sun, but I enjoy more my days in the dark, be under a blanket with my flashlight reading these scrolls like this is what you got to do, this is what you got to know. Like, and it's so funny because my grandmother, she holds a master's degree, she's a teacher, and she always says to me, you speak like you have letters behind your name. And I'm like, and me, I had to leave college because of my mental health. I was medically withdrawn, I had to withdraw. So education is always a big thing to me. It always will be. Education is something that I hold near and dear, but I also realize that even an education in a classroom can't prepare you for everything that's out here. And I have had to adapt. I have had to adjust. I have had to cope on many occasions with what was going on out here because, being an independent, there's nobody else to run to if it gets messed up. There's no safety net. You're the safety net. You have you. So I said all of that to ask you this. You said you have a finance job. Do you act for other people in as kind of like a way to increase your finances? Do you do any like extra work, lead work? Do you in Hollywood? Because you are in Hollywood. So I'm wondering if you kind of because the idea is it's not a wrong idea to act and then take that money and put it into what you're doing. So I was just curious if you did anything like that, or if you just had stuck to your finance job and it pays you so well that you don't have to do anything else.
So because my finance job plus doing the producing and everything is so busy, I actually have barely acted in others things. If it were something that didn't require kind of an audition, like they hit me up, I've done a couple of people's productions, played a role, but I am more so like a producer who I'll act in some of my stuff. But even that, like last year and the year before, I really, really wanted to focus and like hone in on all the producing skills, all of that. So I actually took a break from starring in the stuff because I was like, it's easier on set when I'm just behind the scenes, especially with me still learning things at the time. I really wanted to be like, okay, my producing skills are continuing to increase. So I acted in the sci-fi one that we just shot almost a month ago. But yeah, I do kind of a mix of that, but I don't actually act in other stuff. I just don't really have time to do like the self tapes and everything. Like I said, I really have a lot of respect and empathy for the actors who do. I love when we have our auditions and I'm looking through and then, they have their super professional self tapes and everything like that. We definitely love giving everybody their full watch and chance because I know the grind is a lot.
I was looking for it, and when I asked that question, it was loaded because literally I'm the same way. I don't have time to do anything else. This takes all of my time. And I wanted to hear your perspective, and you basically said the same thing. I don't have time to go and do somebody else's agenda or live in somebody else's dream. I don't have time to go and fulfill someone else's fantasy. I have to pay attention to everything that I'm doing because I am literally like you at the helm. So I'm steering this thing. I don't have time to step away and do those things either. And I like that you said that because it's just like what people need to understand is when you say you're indie, you're indie. Same thing
Yeah,
with you, like same thing with me. When I say I'm indie, I'm indie. Like,
right.
it's so funny because it's kind of like I'm in LA, but I'm here to make my dreams happen. And I love that. I love that that focus is there. That
Yeah.
focus.
Because I feel like with producing the projects, I'm like, there's all these people that are counting on me for them to be able to have this project come out so that they have an additional project on their credits and on their resume. So I just kind of think of it like that. I'm like, I have to stay focused and have to keep these things moving forward because, there's people on each team that are brought along on the ride. So I don't want them to just be like, oh, okay, well, where are we going? Like, what's going on? You just doing your thing, but like, what's so I really do enjoy producing a lot because it combines the business and creative loves well. So yeah, in the future, I mean, would I be open to additional acting things from other people's productions? I would say yes, if it's a film. I most likely would not do someone else's series because that's a really big commitment, and I wouldn't want to then disappoint whoever series it was because then and it's just a big commitment because recasting is hella awkward because it's like, wait, but wasn't this just that actress, now it's her or him and him. So I could do a film though. I like doing movies. I really love movies in general because you get to make it, release it, and then it's like done. With the series, it's such a big business because if you do it right, you're doing it for 6 or 7 years. So, I'm still planning on doing that. But I really, after I kind of aborted the mission that I was on with the show some years ago, I was like, okay, there's all these different genres and opportunities around people who would like to do these projects or projects that I would like to do, and stuff like that. And so I enjoy doing the short films. It allowed me to get things under my belt, get experience, get knowledge. And now I feel like I really know everything that I would need to know for the show. So I feel poised for the moment now, to be able to get it done. But yeah, I probably would not act in somebody else's series because it sounds bad, but like I kind of like having control over my body enough to be like, this is where I'll be, this is what I'll do. And, if I'm a part of theirs, then it's like I really would have to all the way factor that in order to truly commit, plus my job, plus all the other projects. And I think, I only have so many hours in the day, so I probably have to decline it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a self word floating around that most people don't understand when you when you have a dream and it's not self-centered, it's not self-absorbed. You have to be extremely self-involved. Like you have to be self-involved and a lot of us don't get told that. So I'm taking the opportunity to highlight that because you have to be extremely self-involved
Yeah.
because like you said, like like it's easy to run off and like you said, go do somebody else's work, but it sets your work back.
It does. It
Yeah.
does.
Which is
Producer.
why, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying that as a producer, 100%, it'll set you back if you don't, there's other people's visions in projects and then there's your own. And it takes so much energy, so much work and time to get every project done that, yeah, if you spread yourself too thin, then nothing really is getting done.
Yeah, like, it's so crazy. Like I'm blessed. I get a lot of people that ask me to do things. I was talking to you about something that I was doing today for.
All right, I was
He
gonna
shall,
say,
yeah, he shall not be named on the camera
yes,
until it comes out. But, like, I was saying it was, such a beautiful thing to be included. But I, even in what I did, I said, thank you for including me, but I'd like to think that my crown got me the consideration. The hard work that I've done on my own time, what I have created got me the vote of confidence. And that's what people don't understand. Like my resume is not full of, well, I did this for this person, or I did this for that person, or I did this for that person. It is full of me doing things for what I need to do to get ahead. So, and because of that work, then I take certain things, but I'm like you, my endeavor is not to work with any anybody else like that. Like literally, I even say that for the Queen of Shade. She's the best character I've ever played. She will be the best character I ever play. And no one can match that enough for to make me want to go do something else.
right.
And the reason why I keep going around this so they can keep hearing it is because they need to understand when you are committed to doing something on your own, you're committed to doing something on your own. Like, I really want them to get that. I really want them to understand that, you know, you can't straddle the fence. You literally have to do your heart's desire because when you don't, your heart's desire fades. And I've been, like I said, I've been doing this 21 years and I've seen just my evolution alone. I know where I started. I know what I started with. And it's just like, I couldn't, if I wanted to, give up any time, any time to go do something else. I couldn't do that. So let's go down memory lane real quick because you were here before, but I want them to kind of get a little background on how competitive you can be. So,
And I,
yes, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. It's not you're a lovely person, but what I'm saying is when it's game day, you put your game face on. That's what I really mean. So, tell everybody where you're from. Where were you born?
I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Yes,
From Detroit, Michigan. And so you went to school there, right?
I did. I went to University of Michigan. Yeah.
Okay, good. I know this, so I'm gonna say, what sports did you play in high school and in college?
I ran track. Um, all the way from elementary school till then first year in college, and I played football until the beginning of high school.
Yeah, okay. So the reason why I'm saying that is because, people think that we have to be otherworldly all the time, but it's not really us being otherworldly. That's the reason why I said that. I asked you to mention your sports that you played because each one of those sports required discipline. So what I'm saying is, yeah, you may have gotten to Hollywood and had a lot to learn, but you were going to learn it because you were disciplined enough to learn it.
Yeah, my mom and I were talking about some of this actually just earlier today because with track, I mean, yeah, growing up, there were a million lessons and everything learned from that because I was so self-motivated. Track is an individual sport. You might do a relay or you might be on a team, but at the end of the day, you line up on that line in that lane and you got to be in your lane. And like you said, you have to, on game day, you got to show out. And so I do kind of think about the creativity and stuff like that in my head as a track meet. Like, if it's almost time for us to have filming day in my head, it's like, all right, track meet day is coming up and it's 2024. So I'm just totally delusional. Like it's the Olympics in my head all year.
I love that. I love
But
that.
like competing against myself though,
Yeah,
not
yeah, me too. I don't compete with anyone. I compete with myself, but I'm highly competitive with myself.
me too. I have to outdo my past self. I'm like, what did I do? How can I do it better?
I have to. I'm always in a quest to be a better version of myself. Always. So literally one day, then tomorrow I wake up and it's literally like that. Like people think, oh, 5 years. No, no, tomorrow. I have to do better than I did yesterday.
I'll
I
be
have to,
my old
I have to,
self.
no, go ahead, say it, baby.
I say, yeah, I'll be beefing with my old self. Like, look, we gotta outdo you, bitch.
What's your birth sign?
I'm a Cancer.
Oh, okay. The claws.
They can come out. They can come out at times.
One of my best friends, one of my dear friends from Texas is a Cancer, and he has always been there for me. Always, always been there for me, cares about me so much. And it's so funny because when he first came to me, he came to me as a client because this is what I was going to say. So it feeds into what I was going to say because, music, fashion, it takes a long time. You got to have a shitload of money. I spent a shitload of money on my music and to build my empire. So what I didn't even realize I could do was I mentor. So I usually mentor people in the arts because I know so much about them, but I also can mentor in practically every area of life because I've had a lot of life experience. And being a shaman, I can see a lot. It's a lot going on with me. Oracle, shaman, seer, healer, medium. I do a lot of spiritual stuff. So I find that in order to keep my bills paid, while I kind of focus on what I need to do with my career and with music and all of these things, I mentor. And the mentoring is what actually allows me to stay comfortable. So, I understand that because that's another thing too. I had a young man whom I won't say I discovered, but he came across my path a couple of years ago, and I had plans for him, but I didn't tell him because I'm not his mama or his daddy. I could see, how I would want to work with him. At that point, I do have a company, several, so managing other talent and things like that comes very naturally to me. But I remember distinctly this young man got into some trouble because he didn't have his family to rely on and he needed money. And I was investing. I wasn't giving, I was investing. But I got to a point with him where he he wasn't getting a job. Like he was driving for, the Ubers and the Lyfts and things like that. And I got upset with him and I said, you're having panic attacks, you're having this, you're having that. Why won't you go get a real job? And he said to me, I won't go get a real job because I need my time free to be an artist. And I literally was like, okay, you have the wrong mindset because for your art, you should be willing to go get a job.
Mhm.
You don't have to starve. Your art doesn't have to starve.
Right.
And when I saw that, I got rid of him. Literally, I had that conversation with him and I never talked to him again because he showed me that he wasn't willing to do the real work. He kind of was looking at Hollywood the old-fashioned way, or the way that he believed it was, which it's not. Because a lot of, you know this, a lot of actors, a lot of musicians, a lot of people, they work for years before they get that acclaim, or before they get that reputation that they can commit to a project, see it through and work. You know, I have several friends that are actors, and they tell me, they tell me about, the long shoots and the different things and the trailers and the food and the this and the that and the lack there of this and the lack of there of that. And, people don't understand that the front of house, I say this, I teach this to my nephew, front of house is different from back of house. Front of house is always smoke and mirrors. Back of house is where the real production goes on. And people don't understand that being in front of the camera, it's kind of funny because I learned this from my own experience. Being in front of the camera, that's 20% of what I do. Only 20%. Getting dressed and wearing fiery red hair and my crown and all of this stuff. And it's only 20% of what I do. The rest of this business is ran off camera. And people don't realize that, even as I'm sitting here, I'm up here getting text messages about my business. So I'm over here just, seeing to the text messages, even as we talk, because that's what an entrepreneur, that's what someone who's independent has to do. There's no one there to answer the phone for you. You have to answer it yourself. So, you know, I don't want to keep you too long. I just wanted people to understand and to hear from you again, because you're there, you're in Hollywood. People, actors that need to be booked and actors that need to get their foot in the door, they're gonna be coming your way. They're gonna be coming your way, because you're already established. Um, and I love that. I love the fact that you are also being recognized for your work. I love the fact that you're winning awards. I love the fact that, you know, people love you. I know T.S. Madison loves you in your birthmark, she calls it. She calls your birthmark. And I was like, oh, that's so cute. Like it's amazing to see the support, that you get. And I get a lot of support from the community as well. So, it's nice to be able to talk to you and to be able to hear that even after all of this time, you haven't quit. Because a lot of people I talked to, they went home. They went home. It got too hard. They went home. And I did this video the other day and I said, you're allowed to quit. We all quit for 5 minutes. 5 minutes that's it. And I quit often for 5 minutes. And then I get back in here and I do what I have to do. And,
Yes.
and people need to understand that. If you had any words of wisdom for budding, and I'm not just going to say actors, budding directors, producers, what would that sound like?
I think dare to do things that have not been done. I think there's a lot of, when it comes to the Black space and the Black LGBTQ space, there's a lot of different productions or stories that we don't see get told, or genres, stuff like that. So I think just let whatever your creative flair is sing through, and don't be afraid to shake it up some, because some types of productions or things can be seen as more difficult or more like a dream. But I would say, yeah, just dare to feel like what you want to do is possible. And then, yeah, just buckle in for the road of doing it. Because I think that a lot of different projects and things require learning along the way. You never feel like, oh, I'm jumping in and I know every single thing. There's not one question I have or one obstacle I come up with. It'll never be that. So, just jump in and swim for your life. So,
I like that you said swim for your life, because that's literally how you make it. That's
yes.
literally how you make it. Because there are rules. There are rules, but the greats break them. The greats break them. Because
Yes.
if you didn't break them, you'd just be another carbon copy of what was before, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
So very quickly, you said that you just shot and wrapped a sci-fi film. Can you please tell us a little bit about it, what its name is and what's going
Yes.
on, and when we can
Yes.
expect?
So it's called Jamal, and it's about a couple who ends up purchasing a friendly AI companion to bring into their home. And so it's a dramedy, there's some comedy and then some drama happens. And the trailer for that will drop around June. And our goal is to start screening it and stuff in July this summer. So I'm really, really excited for that one because I love sci-fi. It's not something that I have done much of, but has been a goal. Like I wanted to kind of learn some more. And I just felt really ready when making it. And our experience making it on set was really good. Our cast was great, crew was great. So I'm excited to see it and then for others to see it.
God, I'm excited to see it too. Wow. So you also do these screenings. You also do like this. It's Philaye Films, right?
Yes.
You guys do these events. Can you tell us about these events in case people want to catch them?
So we had our inaugural Philaye Films Fest in March this year, and that included Atlanta, LA, and Philadelphia, and we screened three of our new short films plus a teaser, not trailer, but teaser from Jamal, which I just told you about. So it was really great. We had the red carpet and we had the screenings followed by the panel and then a reception after in each city, and it was just really, really good. It felt surreal because the event was so amazing and it wasn't something that was super preconceived. Like it was thought of in mid-January and we had tickets on sale by mid-February and then the event started mid-March. So it was nice after the strike and everything going so slow. It was nice to feel, back to my track roots and be, running on through my lane. And so yeah, it did feel good.
Yeah, I'm so glad. So you said Jamal is coming. The trailer will be out in June, or Jamal will be out in June.
The trailer should be out in June. Film won't be out till like we'll start screening it later in the summer.
Okay, good. Do you submit your things to film festivals?
Yes, yeah, we were Amy and Neil was in a film festival last year. Out of our new projects, we had Amy and Neil in one. It won a few awards at this Hollywood Film Festival last October. Amy and Neil is in the Las Vegas Black Film Festival the weekend of April 18th. And yeah, we submitted to a lot of other ones for our films that we're just waiting on hearing back from. So fingers crossed. I know we'll get some others. Yeah, so we'll see.
I love that. I love that so much. I want to say thank you for coming to talk to me in a very professional manner. That's why I didn't really allow for any like I usually do. I was more reserved today because I really wanted people to get the information that you had to give. It is not easy to do what you do, and I felt that to bring you here, you are a wealth of knowledge because like you said, you jumped in and you started swimming, so you learned where all the things were that they weren't even telling you about, you know? So I just really wanted them to hear the information. And you know I love you. We all love you. But I needed them to hear the information because it's not easy to do what you do. It's not easy to do what you do. There are setbacks. I'm also seeing a lot of like famous people move out of the country, London, Europe, you know, so, because they can't work in Hollywood. Hollywood is changing so fast and so quickly. Go ahead. You look like you want to say something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, the strike and just my time in seeing the industry, things like that, and the different positions in it, whether actor and this and that, it's like you talked about bringing it back to earlier, it's just kind of not made the most easy for Black people to be full time in the industry. So, yeah.
Yeah, and one day I hope that you will change that.
I can only do so much, just
But
do whatever
listen,
part I can do.
I know it's a lot of pressure, but at the same time, you have the momentum. If you don't stop, it's gonna happen.
I will say that within my corner and my part of, the world and industry and stuff, I'll always do what I can to, just bring the good business, which isn't something we see a lot of in Hollywood, bring good business to the art and all that and to the people, the creatives. So yeah, that's always, just a big part of the goal because a lot of the people I work with, we're friends. Like this isn't just oh, we work together and then all right, see you never. Like, no, we are literally friends. I care about, people we're like family. So it's like, it's always gonna be just the priority. Yeah.
You're doing it the right way. You're doing it the right way. So, give me three words that inspire and empower you.
Oh, inspire and empower. Optimism is one because I think that generally that's just kind of me, and it helps, keep me energized and stuff during the day. If you don't believe anything positive is going to happen, you kind of just won't do anything because it's like, well, fuck it. So optimism, joy, because I think being happy and like focusing on happiness throughout the journey and living is important for me. Because we at the end of the day are not machines. We have to be well, or if we are machines, we need to be well oiled. And that oil is partly joy and enjoyment of what we're doing. So if I don't have that, I don't really have much. So joy is important, optimism is important. And then I'm going to say kindness because I think that connecting or love, even because connecting with people around and allowing people to connect with you and stuff is, I mean, that's just a big part of life. You can't do the creativity alone. There's very few creative fields where it's going to be like, okay, well, it's just you, and not everyone else doesn't matter. So I think the love matters, and I felt it in the events and in those rooms, especially like looking through our event photo folders. I was like, wow, look at the team members and everybody just smiling and laughing. We did have them liquored up too, but we had open bar at the LA event in particular, so I was like, the people were lit.
I'm glad that you said that. That's so amazing. Don't go away. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the vocal stylings of executive producer and director, Mr. Philaye of Philaye Films. Say goodbye, but don't go anywhere.
Bye.
So did you enjoy? I hope you did. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. And if you want to support, you know where to find me. You know all my socials. I love each and every one of you, and thank you for watching. See you next time. Mwah.
The Queen of Shades music is now streaming on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and all other streaming platforms. Experience the enchanting tone of the Queen of Shade as she serenades your soul. With her beautiful voice and over 30 years of vocal experience, music link in bio.
Do they know you like to handle it? I say, mister, why punish your son? 'Cause his daddy likes my kind of fun. And at night you always call my phone. You're always asking if I'm all alone. And when I tell you that I need your love, you come running just to feel me up. Turn that TV down, 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 turn that TV down.